Foot, dude.
And we're in.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Friday episode. One good question. If you want to get involved, basically what we do is take a question from y'all, from the audience, from the family, and we get it from Discord. So if you go to 50percentfacts.com, you join our Discord. It's basically like a big group chat. On the left, there'll be a couple different servers you can click on. One is one good question. Leave that for only questions. So you can ask anything you want. If your question gets chosen and featured on an episode, you'll get a gift from 3SB and Good Company. And today, we have a question from the Arrogant Fool. And the question is, Alan Thrall recently posted a video about why he doesn't do PEDs. What are your whys? Is there anything that would push you closer to doing PEDs?
Ooh, that is a good question.
I think I'm just fucked up from the internet, and so I always try to be like so precise with my wording now. And I'll use the name steroids versus PEDs because you can like make all these arguments, right? That caffeine's a PED because it is a drug and it is performance enhancing, and that doesn't encapsulate things being like
painkillers can be PEDs.
Yeah, it's like not illegal, and so like, or it's not a synthesized hormone. And so I think when most people are saying PEDs, and this is nothing against you, my arrogant fool friend, but yeah, people are talking about testosterone. They're talking about like, or steroids, or HGH or something in that realm. So going based on that, you got an answer? Why don't you do drugs, dude?
Yeah, I've talked about this before because whatever I'm able to accomplish, like I want to feel like it's due to my own self and in my most natural, normal form. Like if I were to be able to squat 500 pounds on steroids versus 400 just natty, I would choose 400. Like with 500, I just feel like I would discredit myself in a way because I'm like, oh, but it's because I use these steroids, these drugs to help me get there. And it's not just like my own training and strength, skill, you know.
Yeah, I think a lot of it has to do with why you do what you do. And some people lift weights to lift the absolute most weight they can. And then I think, steroids are probably your route, right? Like, or to build the absolute, we were just talking about Ronnie Coleman, to build the absolute craziest physique you can. And if that's your goal, if that's what fulfills you, if that's what your mission is, to build the most amount of muscle you possibly can, probably eventually steroids are going to be in your path. Yeah. But if your goal is just to push yourself or just to enjoy barbells or to get strong, then maybe those things don't have to be a part of your path. They still can be. But they maybe can. I think there is a whole added layer with ladies, because a lot of the side effects of anabolic steroids for ladies are a little bit more drastic and less reversible.
Yeah, definitely less reversible.
Yeah, and a lot for the men, are still kind of, people say they're studied and all this, but again, like they're illegal, and like the actual isolated studies are very minimal, because there's so many different compounds and dosages that people do or don't do on their own. So like all that isn't as studied as people think, although I've seen clips going around, people talking like it is. It's not. There was a recent clip of More Plates, More Dates that Bart literally just sent me yesterday. Me and Bart are constantly talking each other into and out of doing steroids every day. And so he sent me a clip, and basically Derek from More Plates, More Dates says that it was almost like that cardio thing we talked about in the last episode, where like people kind of speak on like dosages and this and that, but the truth is taking any amount of steroids at any time of any level is less healthy than not.
Yeah, and I don't know if it was the same one or somebody else's. I don't know, it was actually somebody else's that I was watching, talking about the fact that like people who were taking exogenous hormones, they're in protein synthesis all of the time in their musculature, whereas people who are just working out, they're in the sort of normal flow of your body's hormone production. So
you would think if our bodies are supposed to synthesize that much muscle and protein 24/7, then we'd be capable of it without that. But we're not. So there's probably a reason for the cool down.
It's just scary to think about, like, altering your body's like natural, whatever biological reactions and stuff with external sources like that. It's just, I don't know. I don't want to go into the research and control like have to worry about whether the dosages is right and all that.
It is funny just because all the terms we use and how normalized it is within the industry, and especially what we do, but even outside the industry. But like that guy, like the term, like the sentence is said all the time, but when you break it down, it sounds crazy to me. It says that guy doesn't look natural.
Yeah.
Like, that's not good. Well, you know what I mean? Like the term, like, and it's true. We say that because we use the term natural because it's not natural to hold that much amount of muscle, or like how your muscle looks, or how anabolically you look, or how lean you are, or whatever it is. And so, you know, when you if I said like that loaf of bread doesn't look natural, we ain't eating that thing.
Well, unless it's, you know, shaped like a frog or something, that'd be amazing.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like that. Just those terms are so normal in our brain, but they came about for a reason.
Right. Because it's not natural, and it shouldn't be something that's like
and
created.
That's obviously I like
man-made.
It's everywhere in the industry. I grew up around it. You know, I don't care. I don't give a fuck what you do. That is when I will throw my little like freedom flag down. Like, if you're not gonna hurt nobody else, I don't give a fuck what anyone does. Should it be legalized? I probably think so. I'm by no means anti-steroids. But for me, and I said this on a podcast with Jim once, I think the only way I'm taking it is if it's like life-changing money coming around. Like, hey, Mike, you're going to play Wolverine, and you're getting paid $10 million, but we need you to be 6% body fat and, you know, 200 pounds. I'm like, all right, you know, something like that where it could change me and my family's future. I'd probably dive in because I do think the long term of that, I'd get professional help. I know enough people in the industry that I'd probably do it safely. But for me, the reason I've never done it is just the fulfillment. The fulfillment wouldn't be there. And I guess similar to what Abby said, like, I could probably do a couple cycles and probably get close to an 800-pound deadlift right now. But I know once I pulled 800, natural or not, really, steroids or not, I'm not going to wake up any happier. Even if I pulled 800 tomorrow naturally, I'm just not going to wake up happier. That's not what drives me or what makes my mood or life better. I think the barbell as a whole does. It makes me healthier. It's giving me a form. You know, I think of the barbell for me as like a microphone. It's giving me a way to reach an audience and to speak to people.
Wow.
But an 800-pound deadlift ain't it. And so for me, and even muscle, like that's what me and Bart talked about last night. I was like, dude, I don't like want more muscle. And not like I'm insanely jacked, but like I definitely have above average musculature, and like I'm 195 pounds and pretty lean. I don't want to not fit in more suits. I don't want to, you know, like.
Do you think he's closer to taking it than you are?
No.
Or more likely?
So after that, he goes back and forth all the time. So do I. And half of it's in jest, you know. So we're always fucking with each other. Like, fuck it, dude, I'm getting on tomorrow, you know, stuff like that. But he'll send like a clip like that where Derek says, and I probably agree with him, right? Like it's if you work out, if you eat healthy, if you don't have anything wrong with your endocrine system, there's probably no added benefit of taking it. And everyone's out there on this TRT train, and TRT used to be therapy for those with endocrine issues, but now TRT just means lower dose steroids on the internet.
Unless you're taking more. In which case, TRT plus as has been described.
Yeah, and it just makes no sense to me. So I do agree with Derek probably, and I haven't looked at all the data steroids. It's not something that I've dove that deep into, but the fact that if you have a normal endocrine system, you take care of your body, your health, your sleep, etc., taking it is always going to be less healthy than not taking it. And Bart, on this last conversation, although it might change tomorrow, said, no, I'm never taking it officially.
Officially.
Yeah.
Officially.
That's what he said.
I think that if you're somebody who is publicly struggling with a mental health thing and you're on steroids, I think you're playing with fire in a way that you shouldn't.
Yeah.
I mean, and you should figure out that, like, part of the problem is that.
Definitely could be.
I know that people have a difficult time being less strong.
Yeah,
so that's why there's a psychological addictive component to it.
Yeah, the people saying things are addictive or not is such a weird conversation, right? We're like, marijuana is not addictive. Like, steroids aren't addictive. It's not heroin. It's not meth. But, like, collecting pets can be addictive. Yeah. And dogs aren't addictive, but
you can focus on anything and take it to
an extreme.
Yeah, to the extremes. I think that probably the most instructive person out there right now about this issue that I've seen, that we experienced, like when he was on a bunch of shit, and then now is Pete Rubish.
Rubish talks pretty openly about it. I mean, there's a lot of guys at the top that speak pretty openly and pretty matter of fact about it. You know, Mike Israetel and some other people speak on it. But the truth is, I just don't think it's studied enough, and especially if you throw in the mental health portion of it or the mental side. Like, that's why psychology is kind of like a fluid, weird science, because you can't lock it in. You can't control all the variables that go into our psyche.
Yeah.
And I highly believe in psychology and therapy and its benefits for all humans. I don't think there's a negative there. But point being, the addictive part or the what triggers or, genetics you can turn on or off by taking exogenous hormones we don't know about. So, like, I agree with you 100%. Unless you're, like, in the perfect place, why push it?
On the flip side, women take hormones all of the time. And it's totally acceptable. And they do have psychological effects.
For sure.
And physiological effects.
For sure. And it's pushed upon at a very early age.
Yeah. The birth control pills are I mean, it's everyday steroids.
Yeah.
It's everyday steroids. It's in it.
I take steroids then.
There you go.
Not natty.
And I think that it's been downplayed the extent to which it can be a problem for some.
Definitely.
Plenty of women do not have a problem taking them, but
sure.
The
long-term effects aren't really, like, there are no absolutes about that either.
No, there aren't, and there are. My wife a few years ago was having some issues around perimenopause because she's at that stage, and they said, "Oh, well, you should try taking this and see if it helps with the issues you're having." And she's suddenly like having suicidal ideation, and that she did, not based on anything. Like, nothing in her life is triggering this.
Yeah, nothing else changed.
Yeah, nothing else changed. So if something that is as well accepted and as well controlled, I guess, as birth control pills can cause that kind of a psychological effect in women, we should probably be careful on the side of anabolic steroids.
Well, it's because those are patented and they're sold for money.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
Testosterone at this point, as far as I know, isn't patented is and sold by one company. If Pfizer just straight up owned testosterone, we'd be in a different ballpark.
I think that's, well, I mean, people do. There is prescription. Yeah, so people do own, companies do own that. They're just not, it's not the highest margin thing in the world, I guess, maybe.
No, I'm almost sure. I haven't looked into it either, but I'm almost sure if it was.
I mean, all the TRT that comes is prescribed.
For sure. I'm not saying that it's legal or not. I'm just saying that if it's patented to that level where one company monopolizes.
Yeah, if there was
why is there 100,000 different birth controls?
Oh, yeah.
Because they're each patented by one company or a proprietary blend, and they can all each get their money
formulations worth. Are always, if somebody made a fucking super soldier steroid,
it's over.
Yeah,
it's legal all of a sudden.
Yeah, exactly.
Or more legal,
or maybe that's the thing we're actually scared about, and that's why steroids are scheduled the way they are.
I don't know,
Chris, like they're heroin or something.
Yeah, I don't know. It does get messy when you talk about that, and that's where, like, I'm not against mental health prescriptions. I'm not against, obviously, meds or vaccines or anything like that, because they all do have a time and place. But how normalized they are, and once you look into pharmaceutical sales and how those people are literally salesmen, not medical professionals at all, and how doctors, they don't always do their research. They're just listening to the salesman now. And like every industry, there's good and there's bad. So there's good doctors, there's bad doctors. Just because you took the time and money to get a degree doesn't mean you're good at your job by any means. It just makes, the birth control, the steroids, any kind of pill in the prescription game a little sketchy to me.
I think that the whole doctor thing is it's a much bigger problem than we normally talk about. I was having a conversation with my neighbor across the street, shout out Nelson, who is jacked, but like natty jacked. He started working out when he was a kid. He's a little over 40 now, and he's jacked. And he's always getting the thing from his doctor that his creatinine is too high. And they're like all worried about his kidney function. It's like, well, anybody who's carrying extra muscle mass has higher creatinine. That is the thing that doctors should know. That shouldn't be a big question. It shouldn't be a big scare thing. There's no red flag there. That is just life.
Yeah,
it's life.
Well, some of the nutrition stuff, like I believe, like a regular, pediatrician or regular doctor does like 3 weeks of nutrition.
Yeah, and that's it.
And we're like, what? Like, that's like the core. Like, exercise, nutrition are the foundation of health. And a doctor is supposed to be the pinnacle of guiding health.
But
so how are we not?
How we're not, yeah.
You know?
Exactly. And his doctor told him not to take creatine.
Yeah. Yeah, it'll kill you.
Do
you take creatine?
I do.
It's like natty.
Like
birth control and creatine?
I know.
You might as well be hanging out with Ronnie Coleman.
I was like, just because they sound similar doesn't mean that it's like
right.
Like homeopathy but negative. I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like it sounds like this, so it must be this. And no.
Yeah. It's very
creatinine and creatine, different things, folks. And also, he told him not to take Tylenol because of his kidneys. Tylenol affects your liver,
yeah.
not your kidneys.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell?
Yeah.
What
Who
Caribbean
is this guy?
island was your doctor trained on? Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, it's all messy.
So anyway, if the doctors don't know,
yeah, your favorite influencer definitely don't know.
your favorite influencer doesn't know.
That's it.
All I know is that I take steroids.
There you go.
I make a cocktail every morning. Birth control and creatine. It's literally my
Why do you
birth control's
snort 'em
right
is the
on
real
top
question.
Of my creatine. Yeah, I grind my birth control pill down.
Smoke it out of spoon.
Yep.
Fucking weirdo.
It's like a 10-inch line. Just white powder.
Oh my God.
Snorting fish oil.
That's the secret. That's my next video on Instagram.
Nice.
It's about what cocktail.
I hope
of
someone starts a
steroids
Reddit
to
about
take.
you.
That would be great. Then I'd be trending somewhere.
Yeah. Trend it out. Where can people find you, weirdo?
Instagram at avi.liu, avi.lieu.
And Third Street Barbell classes, coaching. If you're in NorCal, you guys want to get stronger, you want to get better, hit up Avi or hit up the gym, and we'll help you out as much as we can. New episodes every Wednesday, Friday. I'm Silent Mike, where you want to find me, 3sb.co. And we'll catch you next week.
I'm at the Jim McDonald on all the social media. This show is 50% facts, where percent is a word and 50 is just numbers, and we say some weird shit sometimes. 50% Facts is a Spreaker Prime podcast in association with iHeartMedia on the Obscure Celebrity Network, and we'll talk to you next week.